Welcome, everybody. We're 1 minute away, actually. I'm going to get started. So please get a pen and paper so you can make notes as you're here live on this webinar, even though the recording is going to be on my YouTube channel. And you can watch it again and you can take notes. It's going to greatly benefit you in learning and absorbing what I'm going to talk about by actually writing down as I speak. So grab a pen and paper and welcome to the top 7 scripts of all times. And I gotta give you a little bit of an introduction here for a couple of minutes before I give you the top 7 scripts. You're gonna get those today. I want to talk about why would the scripts that I'm gonna give you today not work for you. Have you ever gotten any scripts that you used and you weren't able to get the results that the script intended for you to get? If it's a prospecting script, well, I used it and I didn't set an appointment. If it was a listing presentation, well, I used it and I didn't take the listing. If it's a price reduction, well, I said that and it didn't work. So here's why that might have happened, and here's why that could happen with the scripts that I'm going to give you today. I want you to write this down. The more scripted you sound, the worse your results will be. The more conversational you sound, the better your results will be. I have not met too many agents, and I've been coaching real estate agents for 16 years, that love scripts, okay? Most of them are like, I don't like scripts. I don't talk like that. It doesn't sound like me. I don't feel comfortable saying that. They don't like scripts. And here's an idea that I want to propose to you. Whether you're using my script or the scripts I'm going to give you today, or you're just being yourself and saying whatever you want to say. If you're saying whatever you want to say, you're making things up as you go, you're likely to be using a script because you're likely to be responding the same way every time, and it's just the way that you choose and make up or whatever. The difference is I'm going to give you scripts that are effective. They're proven to work. And you may say, oh, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable saying that. What you don't really feel comfortable doing is sounding scripted. The scripts are meant to be used as a conversation. They're just words. They're effective words. That's all it is. I mean, we call it a script. Can you imagine an actor in a movie that won the Oscar, okay? And they're just all these actors are acting without a script. They're just like, I'll just say whatever I want, whatever feels comfortable. It's like they're just words that are meant to take you in a certain direction. That's what I'm going to give you. But when you sound scripted, they don't work that good. Okay, they're not very effective when it's scripted. Then write this down. Communication is not what you say. It's what people hear. You are in the business of communicating. You get paid when you communicate well. And you get paid more and more and more and more the more effectively that you're able to communicate with your prospects and your clients and other agents, because you got to communicate with other agents as well. So communication is not what you say, it's what people hear. And here's the breakdown of communication. Every real estate agent, they love scripts. So I was thinking about a title for this webinar. I'm thinking scripts. I mean, everybody, they want scripts. The actual words on the scripts that I'm going to give you only represent 7% of communication. Remember, communication is what they hear. The words they represent 7% of what the other person hears. Tonality, your tonality, 38% of what they hear. And your body language, 55%. Why body language such a high percentage of communication? Because the way you move your body affects your tonality. It affects how you sound. So, as excited as you may be to get these scripts, how you say the scripts are way more important than the scripts itself. Not that they're not important, but that's only 7% of communication. This is really important. So I'm not going to spend time today on how to deliver the scripts, because that's not what this is about. This is about giving you the 7 scripts. They're going to be short. I'm not giving you full, long scripts. I'm going to give you the top most important, like, little pieces of some of the most important scripts. And I'm going to explain to you why I chose those as the top script, so you can understand the logic behind what you're saying, because that also affects what the person you're speaking with, what they hear. So there's only one, one language pattern or a skill. And I believe, I don't like saying that's the most important one, this is the most important one, but I'm going to say that, okay? I chose to speak to you about this skill in how you deliver the script, because it's probably the most important, or one of the most important ones. And that is called downswings. Write it down. So what is a downswing? I'm exemplifying to you as I'm speaking to you. A downswing is when your tone goes down at the end of your sentences. And I'm going to give you an example. When you're on a listing appointment and you ask a seller to sign the contract, one of the ways that you can do that is you could use the following script, okay? The line, the words. I'm going to make an effort to say it just in a neutral way. All we need to do is sign the contract. That has a downswing. Or if you're using your body language, all we need to do is just sign right here. You hand them the pen. If I say this with a downswing, listen carefully. It sounds like this. All we need to do is just get your signature right here. That's down. My tone is going down when I finish the command. An upswing, which is the opposite, and it's totally ineffective, would sound like, all we need to do is just sign right here. You all hear the difference? You could nod your head, and I see you. There's a huge difference. So when I give you this script, when you ask someone to sign a contract, all we need is your signature right here. And you say, all we need is your signature right here? Is that script gonna work for you? Do you think they're gonna pick up the pen and sign? Probably not. So then you go around saying, well, that script Jackie gave me doesn't work. Oh, now you know why. Downswings is, again, probably one of the most important things that you need to work on immediately. Only speak with downswings. They give you automatic authority. Automatic. You don't need to convince anybody that you're an authority on what you're saying. You say it with a downswing, they go, oh, okay, she knows what she's talking about. You sound like you know what you're talking about. Even if you don't, it sounds like you do. You sound like you're in control. And a leader, you sound like you're a leader. It's like people follow leaders. You lead, they follow. So the one skill that you can, and you can practice this with everyone, just when you're speaking with a child that's like they're putting their hand in a hot stove, and you're gonna tell them to stop, stop, don't do that, that's dangerous. You have that voice of authority. You don't say stop, that's dangerous. Nobody listens to that. It's just, okay, listen carefully. When you say something like, all we need is your signature right here, and you say it with an upswing, what you're saying, write this down so you remember, what you're saying and how you are saying it don't match. It's like the audio and the video don't match. When something is not in sync. So when what you're saying and how you're saying it don't match, it's weird. It's weird. The listener, you've been on the receiving end of people that communicate like that. They're incongruent. It's weird. And subconsciously, the brain of the listener is like scrambled, like they don't know what to make of this. Like they're not likely to do what you say. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Are you paying attention? Okay. Here's another note. I'm going to give you script in just a second here. When you are delivering these scripts, sound interested. I said in the beginning, the more scripted you sound, the worse your results will be. When you read a script like you're reading a script and you sound like you don't care, like, will you expect them to care and do what you're saying when you don't sound like you care? Sound interested and interesting. So sounding interesting means you're not monotone and boring. Nobody wants to do business with a real estate agent that sounds boring and like, if you sound boring, it's probably because you're bored, you're not interesting, you're not interested. Well, they're not going to be interested in giving you an appointment or listing with you either. Never sound condescending, like you're talking down. Oh, I would never do that. Well, agents do that all the time. I used to, and I still sometimes call for sale bonus. If you go on my YouTube channel, you hear live calls to FSBOs. And I used to hear people say all the time, I'm getting all these calls from agents, and they all say, well, what you're doing is not going to work. Like, why are you making them wrong? That's the next point. Never make your prospect or client wrong. Nobody likes to be wrong. Please make me wrong. I love that. No, everybody wants to be right. Make them right. Understand where they're coming from. Validate what they're thinking. They're entitled to they think with their brain, not your brain. So, they're looking at it thinking, well, this makes sense. That makes sense. I should do it like this, should do it like that. You may not agree with how they think and what they're doing, but you can certainly understand from their perspective. You're not inside their head. So never make them wrong. So the first script I want to give you is an expired, and then FSBO, and then a door knocking, circle prospecting script. Then it's piece of script, okay? Handling objections, closing, pre-qualifying, and pricing. You're going to get all of that today. So expired. To help you understand the script, here's the script, and then I'm going to break it down for you, okay? In my opinion, this is the most important line on the expired script. I am confident that I can sell your home. And I'd like to meet with you for just 20 minutes and show you what I do differently to get houses sold in today's market. Period. Most important line in the expired script. Why? You're speaking with a homeowner that had their house for sale, even in this hot market, which some parts of the country, it's already starting to cool. So it'll change eventually. They're expired in every market. Miami, one of the hottest markets in the country. That's where I am. They're expired every day. Okay. So you call this expired, which in my opinion is the easiest, best source of immediate business. Easiest, best, hands down, easier and better than a FSBO. Easier, no question about it. For sale by owners, I love FSBOs, but they're not easy to list. You got to master a very specific for sale by owner conversation and presentation. Expireds, easy. What is an expired looking for? They're looking for, first of all, they're not looking for the same, right? Whatever experience they had and what their agent did, definition of insanity. Let me just get another mediocre average agent. No, they're looking. So in the script that I gave you, when I say, want to stop by for 20 minutes and show you what I do differently, that's a key word on this expired script, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for an agent who's going to do things differently, because more of the same would get the same results, which is an expired listing, an unsold property. They're looking for an agent that makes them feel confident that they can sell the house. And this is why I am confident that I can sell your house. And I'd like to meet with you for just 20 minutes. Every word on this sentence is precisely placed. I am confident, just 20 minutes, what I do differently to get houses sold in today's market. Powerful. You call a new expired and you say this to them, you get their attention. Now, how are you going to say it? I'm confident that I can sell your house, and I like to meet with you for just 20 minutes and show you what I do differently to get houses sold in today's market. That doesn't work. Point made. This script works. It's tested by thousands of clients that I have coached. And it's tested by me. I actually wrote this script when I was selling real estate and calling expireds. I used every script that was out there, and they were awful, to be honest. And I'm using it and I'm saying it the way I'm supposed to say it. It's like, this is not working, and it's not what they want to hear. And with trial and error, this works. When you deliver this properly, you got their attention. Now, one thing that is dangerous, I briefly mentioned it before, but I want to say it again. It doesn't matter what script you use. When you don't say it correctly, it's not going to work. And the other thing is hesitation. Expireds, they have objections naturally. They wasted a lot of time. They're getting a lot of the calls from real estate agents. They're going to question what you're saying. They're going to give you objections. When they give you an objection and you hesitate, it scrambles their brain again. You hesitate, they hesitate. The reason why they hesitate is say, no, I'm going to take it off the market. I'm not interested. I'm not selling anymore. You're causing that hesitation. And you're causing it by hesitating. The reason why you're not able to overcome objections is that split second when you're like, what do I say? You're done. Okay, here's the FSBO script. Is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell it yourself instead of using an agent? And then if I can show you a way where you'd be able to net more money by working with me than if you sold it yourself, is that something that you might be interested in looking at? Powerful. This is exactly what a FSBO wants to hear. Why? FSBOs are selling on their own for one reason: to save the commission. They're not interested in telling you where they're moving to, why they're moving, and what's happening. And they're like, who are you? I'm not interested in working with an agent. I have no idea who you are. You just want a listing. You just want my money. I don't need an agent. And now you call me asking me questions about what I'm doing and where I'm moving. It's none of your business. When you talk about commission, I came up with this script. And there are not that many agents in this country that can say that they personally, not with a team, personally listed 100 for sale by owners a year after year after year after year. I've done that. May not be the only one. I don't know anybody else, but they might exist personally. They might list 100 FSBOs with a team of, 30 agents. I don't know. I came up with this script because, again, by trial and error, I tried every script. I used every script was out there when I got into real estate. I'm like, some of them I couldn't even say it. I'm like, this is like the dumbest thing. If somebody called me and said this to me and asked me this, I'd say, what are you on? It's like, what is going on? Who are you? Why are you bothering me? So trial and error, that doesn't work. This doesn't work. That's not good. This is not good. Using my common sense, my personal experiences, wanting to learn and improve and get better. Light bulb, not that complicated. They're selling on their own because they don't want to pay a real estate commission. They think they can sell it for the same price that an agent can sell it for. And the only conversation that they're truly interested in is the money. So when you speak about, I used to think the quicker I can get to the question, is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell it yourself instead of using an agent, which I know the answer to that question. Even though sometimes they may say, well, no, I sold FSBO before and I have plenty of time and I can do it and the market is hot. That's like smoking mirrors up here, okay? Okay, the market is hot and you sold on your own before and whatever, and you have the time. But even with all of that and whatever else they may say, if selling on their own would cost them thousands of dollars, they wouldn't be doing it. It doesn't matter how much time they have, how hot the market is, and how many homes they sold on their own. They just don't believe that paying an agent makes financial sense. There's going to be no return on that money. So it's not an investment. The ROI is the return on investment. If there's no return on investment, it's not an investment. It's an expense. You get nothing back. Are you interested in just paying money and getting nothing in return? No. Everything you buy, you exchange money for something that's of value to you. Everything is like that. You don't pay money for something that has no value to you. Same with the commission. So I quickly realized, yeah, when I talk about saving commission, now they're engaged, they're listening, they're paying attention. And I have to believe that there is value in the commission that I charge. Because if I don't believe there is, well, then I don't deserve this listing. I really don't. Why would I expect somebody to pay me for something that I give no value in return? They shouldn't. And that's where I started perfecting the for sale by owner presentation. Um, if I can show you a way where you would net more money by working with me instead of selling it yourself. Key, that's a key phrase right there. When I say net more money by working with me, I don't mean net more money, or I'm not saying sell for more than what you're asking. Did you hear me say that? I never say that. That's a dangerous thing to say. Sell for more than you're asking? No, I will net you more money than if you were to sell it yourself. I'm confident of that. Agents ask me all the time, well, but what if the FSBO is overpriced and, you're not going to be able to sell it for more? That's almost every FSBO. But that's not what I'm saying to them. You cannot convince someone of something you don't believe in. So the first step for you to be able to have these conversations, set appointments, then go out and list FSBOs is you got to understand this conversation. It's your job and your responsibility. You have a real estate license. You're a professional. You should be an expert in your business. You need to understand the value of what you do. Because if you don't, then people should not list with you. Okay. Now we're going to go to a door knocking, circle prospecting, just listed, just sold script. So you're basically door knocking a neighborhood. You could do it over the phone too, but a lot of agents, for some reason, enjoy door knocking. I never did because my time was limited when I was selling real estate. I'm not opposed to it. I actually tell my clients you should make calls in the morning, and if you don't have appointments after lunch, you should go door knock. Get in front of people, see people face to face, break the let's face it, being on the phone for 3 or 4 hours in the morning can get boring, and you're locked up in an area and by yourself, even though my clients are on Zoom and they're making calls together, so it's a lot more exciting like that. Just getting out, breathing fresh air, and seeing people face to face. So by all means. So here's the script. Find a property that was just listed or a property that was just sold in the area where you want to go door knocking, and use that information. Just sold, so closed, right? And use that information. Provide that information when you knock on their door or you call. If you just listed this property, you could say, I just listed a house for sale over on 123 Main Street. If you don't have a listing or a sale in the neighborhood you want to door knock, use somebody else's from the MLS. A home was just listed. You don't need to say I listed. You could say a home was just sold in your area over on 123 Main Street. It could be anybody's listing. If you're going to use someone else's because you don't have your own, I did that when I started in real estate. That's exactly what I did. I did massive amounts of these types of calls. I didn't door knock, but it's the same. You use the same script. And I didn't have listings, so I would just take a listing from the MLS, or you could, if your office has a listing or a sale in the area, then use your office, but you don't need to state whose sale or listing it is. And then you're gonna ask them, you could provide information. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's listed for $399,000, or it's sold for $450,000. Give them that information, and then ask them, do you have any plans to move anytime in the near future. That's the script. The reason why you want to give them the information on a just listed or just sold property is every person, they fall into one of two categories. They either own a home or they would like to own a home one day. Okay. I never met anybody that said, I don't own a house and I never want to own one. Well, I mean, maybe they live in the jungle somewhere. You're not going to be, they probably don't have a phone, so you're not going to call them. So they either own a home or they someday would like to own a home, which qualifies them to be interested in what's going on with real estate. Everybody likes to know what's going on with real estate prices, especially in the area where they live. Even if they don't want to buy right now, they don't want to sell right now. You know this. If you drive by your, like, pretend you're not a real estate agent, okay? Because you have access to the MLS, so you have all this information at your fingertips. Pretend you're just a regular resident in your neighborhood, and you're driving home and you see a for sale sign in front of someone's home. Don't you wonder, I wonder how much they're asking? Yeah. If you see a sold sign, I wonder how much they sold for. Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know. And so when you call with that information, it's a warm call. You're talking about something they're interested. Oh, it is. Oh, how big? How many square footage? Oh, do you know the condition? They start asking you questions. I know. I've made massive amounts of these calls my first 2 years in real estate. Massive. Like literally hundreds a week for 2 years. And people are very friendly, very nice. The biggest challenge you're going to have with these types of, whether you call or you door knock, is ending the conversation. If they don't want to sell or they don't know anybody they can refer to you, it's like, okay, they just want to talk and they want to tell you blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you don't want to buy or sell. I need to move on. Very, very friendly conversations. Handling objections. Wow, I could talk about handling objections for probably like a month nonstop. So I'm going to give you just one bit of scripting here, okay? And that is, in my opinion, the most important part of being able to handle objections effectively, whether it's over the phone, at the door, or at a listing appointment. Or even if you're calling for a price reduction, sellers will give you an objection. You're presenting an offer, the other agent. Objections in general, you get them all the time from everybody, okay? The most important thing you do when you hear an objection is repeat, approve, and validate this objection. And when I say repeat, it could be repeat verbatim the objection or paraphrase what they said. So if they say something like, no, I'm not in a hurry, I don't want to move, for 6 months. Okay, you could repeat, okay, so you have plenty of time, you're not looking to really move for 6 months, I hear. Okay, or you could paraphrase, so you could quickly say, 6 months, so it sounds like you're really planning the move ideally around September, October. Is that correct? It's the same. About 6 months from now, it's going to be September, October. Okay. So I'm saying the same thing. I'm just repeating. I'm repeating. And when I say, okay, that's like approving. It's validating. Like, I understand. And you could say, I understand. Everybody wants to be heard. They want to feel like the person that they're speaking with. Remember, in most cases, when you're prospecting, cold calling, you're speaking with a stranger. I mean, when you're speaking with your past clients, sphere of influence, people you know, well, that's easy. You don't need me to tell you how to speak with these people. These are people you know. The ones you have a challenge with are the people that you don't know. They don't know you. And you have to master the communication with people you don't know, because that group of people that you do know is very small. So if you're only going to talk to the people you know, you're not going to sell a lot of houses because there are not that many. There are a lot more people that you don't know. So you gotta be able to communicate with them. When you're talking to people you don't know, they want to feel like you're listening, you're paying attention. By the way, the people you do know, they also want to feel like you're listening. And a lot of times, the way human beings communicate, they don't make the person feel like they're listening. Most people don't listen anyway, they just talk. I'm gonna leave alone how you deal with the people you know, okay? But this applies to them too. Somebody you don't know, see, somebody you know, even if they feel like you're not listening, they may stay in the conversation and talk to you. Somebody you don't know, you're done. They're not interested. You're not listening. I don't feel like you're listening to me, so I'm not going to listen to you. This is why this is the most important of a handling objection script. It's your ability to say, here's the script. I completely understand what you're saying. From your perspective, you're just looking at this thinking, well, I might as well sell it myself. And of course, if you can sell it for the same price that an agent can sell it for, by all means. I mean, why would you pay an agent to do something that you can do? That's all repeating, approve, and validating. That's the most important script in handling an objection, because until they feel like you've listened to them, they won't listen to you. So I could tell you what to say next, but if you don't do this correctly, it's going to be useless because they're going to listen to it anyhow. So master that part of it. And the other advantage of repeating, approving, validating, advantage, the first one is they feel like you're listening and you're interested and you care and you're paying attention. And also, it buys you time. When you hear an objection, you have no clue what to say. It's like your mind just goes blank. So what I hear you saying is, that's another way to transition into a repeat and approve. It's a great transition. So what I hear you saying is, and you could even, I'm not going to get into that now, but you could even level shift, sort of change. But so what I hear you saying is, you're not really in a hurry right now, and you have plenty of time, and blah, blah, blah. It buys you time to figure out what to say. And when I say figure out what to say, it's not consciously figure out what to say. It's your subconscious mind that's just gonna give it to you. It happens like that. Okay. You gotta test it. It's like, go test. It works. And pretty soon something comes out of your mouth, and it's not a conscious, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. It's just the conversation flows. So it buys you time. Closing. Whether you're closing for an appointment or you're closing for a signature. Here I'm going to talk about closing for an appointment, right? When you're prospecting. Before you actually ask for the appointment, and I'm going to give you a script, you will be able to write it down. You have to present a benefit for them to actually say yes to giving you the appointment. Like, what's in it for them? Like, why should they give you an appointment? If you just keep saying, I want to meet with you, can I come at 3:00 or 4:00? They're like, why? The benefit. Okay. So let me give you an example. There should always be a benefit before you ask for the appointment. An example would be, I am confident that I can sell your home quickly and for top market price. What would be a good time for me to stop by for just 20 minutes and show you exactly how I can do that for you? I have an opening today around 3 o'clock, or would 4 be better for you? So, what's the benefit for them? Sell the home quickly and for top market price. Again, use your common sense. If you're talking to somebody that says, I don't want to sell for 6 months quickly, you might want to leave that out and just say, I am confident that I can sell your home for top market price. And I'd like to meet with you for just 20 minutes and show you exactly how I can do that for you. 3 o'clock work would probably better. There's not a homeowner that doesn't want to sell their home for top market price. That gets their attention. That's what's in it for them. They're gonna agree to meet with you because they're like, okay, well, I want to hear what this is about. Yeah, I want that. Sure, 20 minutes is easy to say yes to. Average real estate agents show up and do a 2-hour listing presentation that puts the seller to sleep. So when you say 20 minutes, they're like, oh, just 20 minutes. Sure, I can spare 20 minutes. Oh, sell my house for top market price? Perfect. Now, if they say no, and they give you no, I have a friend in real estate. That's an objection. What do? You're going to repeat, approve, validate. I'm not going to do that right now. And then you're going to ask for the appointment again. But again, you have to type a benefit with the close. Otherwise, they're not going to say yes. Okay. And the last script I want to give you is for a price. Oh, no, it's not the last. Sorry. Second to last is the pre-qualifying. Pre-qualifying. Now, this is a tough one because you got to ask every question on my pre-qualifying script and then some. My script are the basic questions you ask. And then you got to listen intently and you got to ask additional questions because many times you ask a question and their answer is vague. So they answer, but you're like, you know nothing about the question you ask because they're, so you got to ask all of the questions. So I had to pick what's the most important pre-qualifying question. And that's not easy because pre-qualifying is like a critical step for a great listing agent, a top listing agent. You don't become a top listing agent without effectively and thoroughly pre-qualifying all your appointments. But I had to choose one. So I chose the last question on my pre-qualifying script, which is, if at the end of our meeting, you are confident that hiring me is the best decision you can make, will you be ready to go ahead and get started? That's it. It's as simple as that. As you hear me say, at the end of our meeting, if you are confident, you notice the downswing. You notice how I emphasize that word. It stands out. I have the authority. I sound confident when I say it. When this is on YouTube and you listen to it again, I speak with downswings. The only upswings that you heard me use in this entire Zoom call was when I was exemplifying horrible upswings for you in the beginning. And when I say to a for sale by owner, and it doesn't have to be a huge upswing, but when I say, is saving the commission the main reason why you decided to sell it yourself instead of using an agent? Sell it yourself there's a slight upswing because that causes them to question whether selling themselves is a good idea, which is why you don't want to use upswings unless you want them to question what you're saying, which it's rare. Okay. Like that, this example of sell it yourself is a rare exception. So whenever you're in doubt, always err on the side of a downswing. Oh, I don't know, should this be an upswing or a down? It's a downswing. You cannot go wrong with a downswing. You will go wrong when you use upswings. And pricing. There's so many great pricing scripts and price reduction scripts and how to handle pricing objections on a listing appointment. You're talking to them, you're explaining the market, you're sharing the comps, and they're just like, they want to overprice the property. That's about everybody, right? Every homeowner wants more money for the house than the house is worth. It doesn't matter. It's a hot market and prices have gone up. I don't care. I don't want today's prices. I want tomorrow's prices. In a buyer's market, when prices have gone down and there's a lot of inventory, they want yesterday's prices. Sellers are not ever happy with like today. They want either tomorrow's or yesterday's, like whatever is higher. So mastering the pricing conversation is critical because your job is to take listings and your responsibility is to sell them. And when listings are overpriced, they don't sell. So my favorite, that's a tough one too. I don't know. This is one of my favorite, okay? Pricing scripts. Price is a moment in time. Oof, it's a powerful script. Because it is true. Price is a moment in time. And you should never own the price. Owning the price is saying or implying that you're confident that you could sell it at this price. This is a great price. It's going to sell. I'm confident we're going to get multiple offers. You're owning the price. It's so dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because you have no control over what happens with a lot of things that affect the price of real estate. Can you imagine if you could control that? The plethora of things that affect real estate prices. No, you can't control that. Okay, so listen to this. You take a listing today and it's priced at $500,000, and based on the market conditions, the comparables in your market analysis, you're looking at all of that, and 500,000 is you don't say this to the seller, okay, like that, but it's a great price and you're confident this listing you're taking today at 500,000 will be the next sale in that neighborhood. Okay, are you excited about this listing?
Very excited.
Very excited, right? So you take the listing today, and then tomorrow morning, you log in the MLS because you're going to enter your listing in the MLS, and you do another search in the neighborhood, and one of the active comparables that you used in your CMA, and it's exactly the same house, it's the same layout, the same square footage, it's in the same condition. They were asking 550,000. So you listed yours at 500, like, whoa, I'm so excited. And that was the best one, okay? Like the best comparable active listing. And this morning, when you do another search, they lowered their price to 475 overnight. What happened to your well-priced, great listing? What happened to it?
It's overpriced.
Yeah. You woke up in the morning, a neighbor decided to lower their price, and whoops, my listing is now overpriced. Price is a moment in time. And you got to help the sellers understand that when you take a listing, that line, that dialogue needs to be part of the conversation before you leave the house. You got to help them understand exactly what I just told you right here. Another example is something that was pending closed. Okay, so you listed it, and then 2 days later, in the going around with the same example of 500,000, there was a pending sale, similar home, very you used it in your market analysis because it was comparable, and they were asking 549 and it's pending, or even 525, and all of a sudden they close and it closed for 460. And now that is the lowest sold property because all the comparable sales that you used were 500, 520, 510, but now there's a 460,000 sale and it's a comparable property. What just happened? I don't know now, that's going to be used as a comparable by an appraiser because it's appraisers use within the latest sales within the last 6 months. So if there's a lot of sales for them to choose from, well, then they may choose another one. But nonetheless, that could be used as a comparable on an appraisal. And buyers are going to see that. And buyers don't, even when there's low inventory, there's a limit to the price that a property can sell for. Hot market, low inventory, buyers are making multiple offers and they're all going crazy and the price is going up, but there's a limit. There's a certain point where no one is willing to buy anymore. And a recent sale, the active listings in the area, they all affect the price of the listings you take, and you have no control. Interest rates have been going up recently a lot, and it's happening quickly here in many parts of the country. That's slowing down sales. There was actually an article from the Florida Association of Realtors today saying they don't, whatever their prediction is, that it may not affect a lot of the markets in Florida for various reasons, but in many parts of the country, the higher interest rates are affecting sale prices and how quickly properties sell. You have no control. So remember, price is a moment in time, and helping the sellers understand that, because it takes, you're not responsible for the price. Can you imagine if you actually got to choose what property sell for, how fun your job would be, how easy it would be? But you don't. So why would you make statements that you have no control of? Like, oh, this is a great price, I'm sure we'll sell it, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. Stay away from that conversation because it puts you in a very dangerous situation when you need to have a conversation about lowering the price. Price is a moment in time, and there are other scripts and dialogues that you can use when you take the listing to prepare the seller for what is going to happen in the first 10 days to 2 weeks, and set them up for a price reduction, if not even get them to agree to a price reduction before you take that listing.